In the late 80s, early 90s, the Virginia wine industry didn't make a lot of wine and didn't make a lot of good wine. And we drank wine from around the world trying to understand why ours was not as good. 40 years ago when this vineyard was laid out, people didn't know what the history was going to be. They don't know what the last two generations were doing because no one grew grapes in Virginia from 1920s until 1970s. We lost what was known. We had to rediscover, redefine. The most consistent thing in growing grapes in Virginia is inconsistency. After 25 years getting grapes from this vineyard, which is now the oldest vineyard in Virginia, we've never had 2 years the same. We prune a little bit differently, we leaf pull a little bit differently, with the idea of knowing the current weather and the weather trends for the next month or two, as well as where's our style going to go. If we want more sun on the fruit, if we want more minerality, if we want more ripe tropical fruit flavors, there's a lot you can do in the vineyard, and there's a lot you can do after the grapes are harvested. If you can taste a glass of Bordeaux and say, this is good Bordeaux for X amount of money, or Napa Cabernet Sauvignon, we want to say, this is good Virginia Viognier, this is world-class Viognier, or Cabernet Franc, and this is Virginia style. And it's been my passion for 30 years to help define that. So I think the memory of Pearmund Cellars is in recognition of what Virginia's about. The struggle to make wines again after 400 years of history, still trying to figure out how we can do it and who we are as a state. Pearmund Cellars kind of always has been a leadership position as to help define good customer experience, to explain and educate on what wines are, how they're made, how our style is, what is the cadence and difference of Virginia. The biggest vineyard in the world is 1.2 million acres, and it's a grape variety called Arian, and it's in La Mancha, Spain. Most people never heard of it before. Gallo makes over 75 million cases. Virginia makes 500,000 cases. So in the industry, we're still small potatoes. But it's not size that matters. I think it's about quality and a value relationship and something local and something to be proud of. People say sometimes that Virginia wines are too expensive. If you're comparing to $10 bottles of wine from South America or huge producers, yes it is. Aston Martins are more than Toyota Camrys. Yes they are, but they're not as good as Ferraris. And our $25 bottles of wine will compete in the world stage against other very good $25 bottles of wine. We don't do so good in the $100 category. When you look at what it takes to make a good bottle of wine and you use the same comparison at the same price point value, Virginia competes and holds its own on a world stage with the best of the rest of the world. No question, no problem. Every wine writer who's been through their wineries knows this. And that's, to me, what is exciting, because we don't make a lot, we don't make the most, but we hold our heads at the same level of the rest of the world when you compare apples to apples.